Hello Internet, I'm David and this is the Pursuit Blog. Now, I often get accused of being really hard on Christians. And I want to address that, especially after my last video where I talked about all of the protests that are going on in the Islamic countries over this movie called The Innocence of Muslims that was produced here in the US. Now, I'm doing this video as a response to a comment that I got on that video. Let me read it to you.
You blame the pieces of amateur film no one is going to see, rather than blame the nutcases that flip off and kill people over it and ride across the world. It doesn't get more backwards than that, mate. Grow a spine and stop getting on both knees to appease these lunatics. This is how terrorism works. You've become so intimidated by their tantrums that nothing to you is worse than offending someone. People like you seriously need a high dose of harden up.
Now, I don't typically respond to comments like that, but it's a comment that I'm seeing more and more frequently. People are upset at me that I'm not more upset at the Muslims who are causing this, and that I'm upset with Christians who started it. And just a side note, the guy who produced the film The Innocence of Muslims was a Coptic Christian, and the insurance guy who has been the face of this whole project is a fundamentalist Christian. So yes, these people were Christian, at least in name. But the reason I am tough on Christians who do stuff like this is because I think we're held to a different standard. I don't hold Muslims to the same standard because I'm not a Muslim. I am a Christian. And I see what Jesus says and the standard he holds, a standard I'm willing to be applied to myself. And I hold other Christians by it as well. And the standard is this. Jesus says, pray for those who curse you, bless and curse not. Jesus also said to love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Nowhere in that does it say go and antagonize people. Nowhere does Jesus say you need to fight for yourself. Matter of fact, Jesus says the world is going to hate you. But don't worry, it's not you, it's me that they hate. And Jesus also said, never fear, I've overcome the world. We're not to go off and antagonize people. We're not to go off and seek revenge for when people antagonize us. You see, by coming to Christ, you give up your right to revenge. In following Christ, there is no compatibility with the idea of revenge. Paul writes in Romans, and let me read it to you. He says in Romans 12:19, do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. Revenge is mine. I will repay. Says who? Says the Lord. Now, I'm not just talking about Muslims and terrorists. I'm talking about exes and next door neighbors. As Christians, we are to be known by our actions and the way that we love other people. And I don't see any way to say that you love somebody and wish nuclear fallout on them. Or to say, I love you, but are actively trying to get someone back. So yes, I'm harder on Christians because that is what we're called to do. We're called to be distinct. We're not supposed to act like everybody else, and that includes revenge. And to those who have left me comments like the one I read you on this video and other videos I've done where they accuse me of wimping out and not taking an aggressive stance, can I introduce you to Jesus? It's him that I'm following. He's the one that's setting my example. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need a military and a government. We don't need to be a doormat. We don't need to just allow people to walk all over us. But I'm following Jesus on this one. Now, I'm going to stop rambling at this point, but let me know what you think in a comment or a video response down below. I hope you see where I'm at on this. And now make sure you check out my website. I've got a new blog up on God's peace. It's kind of coming out of a deep place for me. And make sure you subscribe to this channel here on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can also like the Facebook page. Links are all down below. I hope you have a great day. God bless.